Hi guys, it's Mr. R here, and today we're going to be talking about two easy engineering experiments you can do at home. So for these experiments, we're going to do them with little to no instruction, and you have to figure out most of these steps by yourself. That's what makes them fun, and that's what makes them an engineering project. So the first project is making a catapult out of these popsicle sticks, some rubber bands, and some tape or glue, whichever you prefer. Now, while you're supposed to do this by yourself, I have some tips for you in case you're stuck. And if anyone is stuck, just give them these tips. Maybe it'll help them move along. So the first thing is, for the actual frame of the catapult, it's better to go with a triangle frame or a rectangular frame, at least for the base of it. So the part that's gonna stay on the ground, that's the part you want to have. Triangle is best, that's the most strongest. And then the next would be a rectangle. So that's just some in case you're stuck and you're wondering what to go to. So after that, for the actual part that comes up from the ground, so we have our ground structure here, and then we have our part on the top. It's better to go with, let me show you, an open, again, triangle design, but have some opening at the bottom, because this is where you'll be able to put your rubber bands across. So when the spoon, I forgot to mention, the spoon is one of the parts that you need. So when you have your spoon here, the whole purpose of the catapult is you should be able to tilt back your spoon to launch a projectile. So if you have no opening here, you'll have no room for the spoon to go to, and it'll like sort of hit here. And if you have a rectangular base, you still have this portion at the bottom that spoon will get stuck to. So the best design, I would say, is this. Now of course some materials will also be better than others, and for that I recommend tape as the best, or if you have it, wood glue, but in most cases tape would be the best. So just a strong layer of tape around each of the joints of all your parts in the frame. That'll make you a good frame for the catapult. Now, one last thing is, when you're using the spoon, if you have some like flimsy plastic spoons that tend to bend, always, as a reminder, use a single rod or the single popsicle stick behind the spoon so you can have a more stiff exit. So as you can see, this is a much better release than if you have a spoon that bends all the way like that. And those are just the tips for the spoon, or the catapult that we're making. Now, everything here has to be done yourself, and these are just some ideas to help you get started. And hopefully your catapult works. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is, there's a thing called paperweight. So in this thing, you'll be given a single sheet of paper, preferably a printer piece or like a copy paper. And using that single piece of paper, you have to design a structure. It doesn't have to be a single structure, it can be multiple structures, from one piece of paper and a 6-inch piece of tape. And you have to use those two materials to construct something that will be able to take the weight of a textbook on top of it. Now, it's cheating if you just put the single piece of paper flat like this and just put the textbook on top. That's not what we're doing. We're talking about like, either like you roll it up and you put the textbook on, see if the weight holds, or you fold it into many pieces, but whatever it is, the entire textbook should be lifted off the ground. Now, a lot of people will do this wrong, and of course if you mess up or you like rip the paper and you need more, you can always get a new piece of paper. But using that tape and the pieces of paper, the best structure in case you're stuck, and at the end the solution will be to construct small, tight, circular pieces. So like ripping pieces of the paper off or cutting would be better, it's more precise. So like ripping pieces of the paper and then folding it, and then the 6-inch piece of tape you can cut into like 6 separate pieces, and so you have one of these. It's better if it's like a little thicker than this, and that will most definitely be able to take the weight of the textbook, as it's small, compact, and the circular design gives it the lift it needs so the textbook can rest comfortably. Now, since I said they don't have to be combined, now you can just, like a table is supported by its legs, you can just put a bunch of these little cylinders around, and that should be able to take maybe 1, 2, or 3 textbooks. Now, if you're competing against other teams, and that's what I recommend you do this in teams, because that's where you like think the most, that's what you use for engineering projects. So in teams, if there's more than one team that, for example, has some structure that can hold up the book or the catapults that work, then you want to put those teams next to each other, and maybe for the catapult, have them hit as many targets they can in a row after another, or how many targets they can hit. That's what determines which team is better. Now for the paper, you can determine whose is better just by keep putting books or textbooks or weight on top of that first textbook to see how much it can hold. And whoever can hold the most wins. And those are two easy engineering projects you can do at home that require a lot of creative thinking. Alright, that's it. See you.